Hello everyone and welcome, it's Seras here from Addict Gaming, and today I'll be covering the warrior changes in the September 9th feature patch. Alright, so the first big and most game-changing changes were those that happened to warrior adrenaline. Adrenaline decay rate was doubled, along with it beginning to decay as soon as combat has ended. The current adrenaline value is now also represented by a numerical value such as 10 out of 30 strikes instead of by a percentage such as 33% of your adrenaline bar. If you miss a burst skill or it was blocked and evaded, then your adrenaline bar will also become depleted. The Grandmaster defense trait Rousing Resilience was changed to have an 8-second duration. Rousing Resilience grants you 1000 toughness when you rate out of a stun or use balance stance. The Grandmaster trait Brawler's Recovery received a nice change. Previously, Brawler's Recovery used to only cleanse blind from you when you swapped weapons, but now has been changed to cleanse one condition from you of any type when you swap weapons. The burst skill for the Greatsword received some changes. Originally, it would just do a bit of damage and grant varying levels of fury depending on your adrenaline at the time. Now its base damage has been lowered by 8%, but now it hits up to 5 targets and will deal 50% additional damage to those targets that are below 50% HP. It also still grants the fury as well. Sadly, it's not the 100% extra damage that was mentioned during the Ready Up stream. The amount of damage it does isn't actually based on the adrenaline, so you can hit it with just 1 bar of adrenaline, you'll get the minimal amount of fury, but it will still be doing the maximum amount of damage that the skill can do. The skill also received a cool new animation, which I rather like compared to its old one. The number 2 skill on the Greatsword received a damage nerf. The initial hits each had their damage reduced by 5%. The final, more damaging hit, however, remains unchanged. The number 3 skill on the Greatsword, Whirlwind Attack, also received a damage nerf on each of its strikes. Each strike was reduced in damage by 5%. The elite skill, Signet of Rage, had its adrenaline gain doubled at the cost of its boon durations being reduced by 5 seconds to 25 seconds per boon. The number 1 skill on the rifle received an overhaul. Its new name is now Fierce Shot. This is because Bleeding Shot would have been entirely inappropriate, seeing as how now that the bleed has been removed from it. Its direct damage was increased by 22%, and it will now generate an additional strike of adrenaline against any vulnerable targets. The number 5 skill on the axe, Whirling Axe, received a damage buff of 17%, and it also had its cooldown reduced to 15 seconds. However, it also had a fix, which is also sort of a nerf, which you can no longer dodge while using Whirling Axe, as it will cancel out the skill. The last hit of the Mace auto attack chain, Pulverize, had its cast time lowered by 25%. The Mace number 2 skill was changed to always grant 6 adrenaline if its casting time is completed and 3 upon activation of its secondary skill. It will always grant no adrenaline if it is cancelled through other means. The Sword number 5 skill, Riposte, also received a similar treatment to the Mace number 2 skill. The Sword number 4 skill, Impale, had its torment durations lowered from 12 to 8 seconds. The Signet of Might received a change, which has made it so that all your attacks are now unblockable for the next 6 seconds after the activation of the Signet. The utility skill, Berserker Stance, received a massive nerf, which has lowered its adrenaline gain by 40% per pulse. Its tooltips have been updated to represent the number of pulses and adrenaline gain per pulse. The Banner's skill, Sprint, no longer performs an attack, but it now does ignore the chilled and crippled conditions. The lead skill, Rampage, was changed to no longer exponentially increase your power. The damage of its skills has been increased in order to compensate for this loss. The skill now also gives a 25% damage reduction, and it reduces the durations of Chill, Cripple, and Immobilize by 33%. Its skill, Throw Boulder, has also had its projectile speed increased by 33%. Counterblow received a fix in where if you activate it in less than half a second before blocking, it would have a shorter cooldown. Last up, we have another bug fix to Healing Surge, which was causing it to heal for more than the listed healing value when at the stage 0 of adrenaline. Alright, there we have it, the warrior changes for the September 9th feature patch. As you can all hear, I have a new microphone now, hurrah! More to follow up with the Thoughts videos and the associated gameplay with them will be coming along shortly, along with some awesome new builds. Anyway, this has been Seras, and thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.